back everyone in another YouTube video. As I have discussed in my Instagram account, I have announced to you that I'm going to be talking on the next YouTube video in something called an emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence in first place, and how important is that when you will be applying for the job position of a cabin crew / flight attendant? Now let's go first and see what is emotional intelligence. Now, the term emotional intelligence became popular in 1996, and it was spoken by a gentleman called Daniel Goleman. He basically described the emotional intelligence as an ability to be able to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as an ability to recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of other people. What he basically meant by this definition is saying that our behavior and our entire decision-making process, our entire living as humans is pretty much determined by our emotions. Being able to understand our emotion will give us higher chances of having control into our life, and at the same time, being able to understand other people's emotions will make us easily stand in front of them, easily understand them. We will be less judgmental, and many other factors. Now, why future cabin crew should be possessing a certain level of emotional intelligence? I'm gonna be coming up with few ideas. I have been that is not something I have invented, I would like to say. I have undergone a few trainings for emotional intelligence while I was working with Qatar Airways during my leadership courses, the primary leadership course as a cabin senior, and the senior leadership course as a cabin service director, a little upgraded version on the importance of emotional intelligence as a leaders. Nevertheless, when you will be getting the job, hopefully you're going to be employed as a cabin crew, you will also have an emotional intelligence training. But what I'm going to speak to you further on in this video are a few parameters in which you can work to display the level of emotional intelligence a little higher, that is going to make your chances bigger when you will be applying and hopefully, as I said, getting the job as a cabin crew. Many of you that are watching this video most probably have been rejected, and you have gone home after being rejected and you were asking yourself, right, I'm beautiful or I'm handsome. I have a lot of knowledge, but I'm lacking in something. And I seriously think that emotional intelligence is something that you should look up within yourself, and hopefully in the next few moments and minutes of this video, you will be able to discover, you will be able to learn how to upgrade your emotional intelligence. And my sincere hope is that you're going to be successful on your next open day. Another important factor on why future cabin crew should have a higher level of emotional intelligence is to prevent onward issues that can happen. And believe me, in the job description of cabin crew, in today's life of cabin crew, stepping out from your house until reaching the destination, reaching your hotel room, there can be so many unpredictable issues that can happen and are happening. And being highly emotionally intelligent person and intelligent cabin crew will only help you easily, number one, prevent these issues from happening. Number two, when they will happen, it will help you to easily deal with them. So therefore, in the selection process, when the recruitment team is looking for highly intelligent candidates, future cabin crew, they do that with the full right and with the full responsibility in the importance of having this characteristic in your personality. Let's go with a few tips on how you can tap, how you can upgrade, and how you can become more aware of your emotional intelligence, and hopefully how you can learn to display a higher level of emotional intelligence during the open day when you will be handing over the CV, during the time you're gonna be doing the reaching test of 212, during the SCAR declaration, during the English test, the group discussion if it's there, and during the interview. Displaying the emotional intelligence in all stages of the recruitment process is being observed at all points of time, and it's very, very important. The number one factor when you will be communicating with the recruitment team to show how you can be, how you are an emotionally intelligent person, is that you are utilizing an assertive way of communicating. And that means you are presenting yourself, you're not presenting yourself too aggressively, nor too passively. That means when you will be standing and you will be talking with the recruitment team, you are using a pleasant tone of voice, yet that is well understandable. You are posing straight. You are having an open palm gesture. That is something that I have been talking in my previous videos, in particular in the video for the confidence and how to increase your confidence. With your entire communication, with your entire way of speaking, utilizing an assertive way of communication, you will be instantly earning the respect from the recruitment team. That is something that comes up naturally. You will be able to feel it, and it all depends on how you're going to position yourself, how you're going to stand. Yet I'm also emphasizing over here, you're going to present yourself assertively with a level of confidence. Don't forget also the humility moment in which you are extending your respect, and how much you are amazed and thrilled to be talking and to be interacting with the recruitment team. You appreciate them as your recruiters at that particular time. And one more important factor as well, one more attention to detail, is as an emotionally intelligent person, you will be using their names, their first name or either name they're going to introduce themselves while you are communicating with them. So don't forget to utilize, as I said, an assertive way of communication while interacting with the recruitment team. Another factor that will show that you have a high level of emotional intelligence are those tricky questions when will be asked to you. For example, one tricky question can be, what do you do in moments when there is a conflict among the crew members or among the colleagues? How do you deal with that? Over here, a highly emotionally intelligent person will never ever focus on the conflict at that particular time. As a highly emotional person, you must focus on the goal. Now, the goal in the particular moment, as I mentioned, will be serving the customers on time. If that conflict happens during the flight, happens during the briefing. If it happens during the briefing, the goal is to first set up the expectations loud and clear, and to deal with the conflict later on with listening, being a good listener, paraphrasing and coming up with a solution from your side, showing your understanding, so on and so forth. But in this manner, what I'm trying to say is show to the recruiters in every situation, every tricky situation and every tricky question that you're gonna get, that there is a certain goal that needs to be achieved, and that will be pretty much determined by the question that you're gonna be asked. And in this manner, you really need to think smart. One example that I've told you is the conflict, and when a conflict arises in a flight, there is something called service. We first need to serve the customers, and then later on we're going to deal the conflict among the crew members. For all the questions on what the recruiters might ask you, I have given perfect ideas and structures on how you should answer the questions in my other 3 videos. Don't forget to scroll down and have a look at that. So yeah, one important factor, as I said, in this matter will be to show to the recruiters that you are thinking of the goal, and always the goal in aviation will be safe flight, number 1, going safe from point A to point B. And then the other, of course, very, very important factor, which is the customer service, and always, as the saying says, customers always comes first. An important factor to show that you are a highly emotional, intelligent person is actively listening. That means that you are not only sitting and waiting for your turn to speak. Often, when we have something to say, we forget, or we're not focused on listening what the other person is saying, rather than we are having a message and we need to, we cannot wait for our turn to speak. Now, in this matter, while you're having your recruitment process, and later on, don't forget that what we discussed here and what we are learning here is something that you should be practicing during your entire flying career, as that you are an active listener and you're actually listening to every single word that the other person is communicating. You are understanding what the other person has been telling you, and you are responding towards that accordingly, because sometimes the message that you want to transfer, or the thing that you want to say, is not corresponding with what the person is telling you, what the message is telling you. So therefore, displaying an active listening skills is very important, and how actively you're listening, experts or the recruitment team will be able to say. As I said, they're very experienced when it comes to recruitment, and never misjudge their experience, and never look in faults in their behavior, please. Practicing and maintaining a positive attitude. Please focus on what I'm going to say. It's not enough that you have the perfect attitude while you are in the room together with all the candidates, and then you have your break time, you're going out from the break time, and you forget about the positive attitude. You forget about your body language, you forget about your facial expression. Highly emotionally intelligent people are carrying the positive attitude with them, no matter where they are. Please also pay attention to another detail that I'm going to tell you here is, do not use your mobile phones during the entire selection process. During the breaks either. If you really need to use your mobile phone, please do in the toilet. Hide yourself in a safe place. Use it when you have to use it, but that day, during your recruitment day, I know it's very important for you, that's why you're watching the video, forget about your mobile phone. There has been so many candidates, fantastic candidates that I have been discussing with, who have not been recruited because they forgot about this important fact. Going back to the positive attitude. As a highly intelligent person, you are always watching your body language. You're not standing like this, as I said. You are having an open palm gestures. I've discussed many times, and I'm going to say it again. You're standing straight. You have a pleasant tone of voice. You're having a pleasant smile. You are looking ready to help to anyone. There will be so many candidates interacting with you during the break time. Show that excitement on how happy you are to be among those candidates, because those candidates tomorrow, many of them will be your colleagues. Even the ones who are not going to get the job, be kind to them, be nice to them. Show assistance when they will ask you. Don't make faces, don't look unfocused. Sometimes candidates really look unfocused. They're so focused on themselves, they forget about the interaction. Ladies and gentlemen, in the recruitment process, it's all about how you're going to present yourself. And the positive attitude is very, very important part that is showing that you are a person with a higher level of emotional intelligence, that later on, when you will be put on that basic training for cabin crew, you will be able to achieve an outstanding result thanks to your outstanding personality. Take all the critics, all the feedback positively, as we love to say. What does this mean? You will be asked, as I said, tricky questions on, for example, what do you think? There was a candidate who asked me, who has shared with me that he has been asked during his recruitment day, what do you think about authority? And he said completely wrong answer. He said that we should fear authority, that authorities are not so good, they're showing that they're overpowering, and this is not the answer that the recruitment team is looking. If you have been asked the question on what is authority, You must show that you are looking to those kind of people with higher authority as something that you can learn from. That their critics and their feedback, for example, from your supervisors tomorrow, from your colleagues, it can be from your experienced flatmate you're living with. He or she might be more experienced than you. Their critics, you're gonna take it in the most positive manner. Another question that can come up over here is, have you applied for the job position of cabin crew previously? Many of you are asking me, should I be honest and say, definitely, yes, I have applied for the cabin crew position for Qatar Airways or for any other airline in particular, and I haven't made it. Then they will ask you why. Then you must be able to show that you have criticized yourself. You have that self-awareness on where you made a mistake. What is so important is that you understand the critics as a way of learning and progressing in the future career. Therefore, the recruitment team will be looking at you as a possible candidate with a high level of quality that will be able, future feedback, to take it positively, to implement it, and to make yourself a better co-worker, a better cabin crew, a better listener, a better performer, and overall, believe me, a better person in your life itself. So therefore, extending the way of understanding critics as something positive, as a way of learning, it's very, very important. You're able to empathize with others. This is also something that can come up from a question. The recruitment team can ask you, in particular, lots of questions related to special handling customers. They can ask you, you have today a mother with infants, an elderly passengers with loads of bags, and they would want to see how you are prioritizing in helping those customers, how much you are empathizing with the customers. Now, it's not so, what would I say, it's not so important whether you're gonna go and assist immediately the elderly customer or you're gonna go and assist the mother with the infant. What is important is how you are expressing the empathy. For example, I would say, because I'm pregnant, I would say I would go instantly and help the mother with the infant and a lot of bags. Straight away when I'm finished with her, or at the same time, I'm going to ask my colleague to help the older person, the older gentleman with his bags. I'm going to be delegating duties, but yet I will show empathy and understanding that these customers have problem entering the aircraft, they need my assistance, and I know exactly and I understand exactly the importance of giving my assistance at that particular time. And of course, the other factor over here in the answer is that you are able to delegate duties because you know that you're not working alone in the aircraft. You have your colleagues and they're part of the resource management at that particular time. And just whenever you will be getting a question, show to the recruitment team that you are having a certain level of empathy, and if you don't have the level of empathy, I don't know how I'm gonna help you with this. That's why, as I said, the selection process is very hard, and the recruitment team are looking for people with higher level of emotional intelligence in order to be able to understand emotions, position themselves properly, and assist at that particular time using all the entire resources that are available in the aircraft, because we're discussing here for the job description called cabin crew / flight attendants. Utilize leadership skills. Don't worry, if you don't have a leadership skills, you don't have to think that you're going to be disqualified, because people who have zero leadership skills later on have developed themselves into great leaders. Some of us would be discussing on whether the leaders are born. I strongly believe personalities with leadership skills, yes, are born, but there are also people who have zero leadership skills, but thanks to the amazing training programs that airlines, hospitals, hotels have developed, they have becoming great leaders. So therefore, if you don't have leadership skills, don't worry. Now, what I would like to focus over here and how to develop the leadership skills is one example was in the previous part where I discussed is you are thinking resourcefully. Very important is that in the aircraft you know that you're not working alone. This is not a corporate jet or a private jet that you're applying for, and you will be alone in the aircraft with your passenger and the pilots. This is a commercial airline, and in Qatar Airways and Emirates Airlines, in most of the airlines, the cabin crew are flying with full complement. That means you're never alone. Yet you are aware that in the flight you have a leader. As I said, once I will connect, the leader should be someone you are constantly looking for. You're constantly looking at a person who can teach you, assist you, guide you, and get the best answers. But at the same time, being aware that you should act, not hide. Many times, the cabin crew are hiding when a situation is arising. You must show to the recruitment team that you are not afraid, that you are a learner, that once you learn, you will always not hesitate to implement what you have learned on board. That's why in your selection process, I very much emphasize in making the CV is to write personalized skills. Ladies and gentlemen, the recruitment team strongly wants to know what are you able to do, what kind of person you are based on your key skills that you love to name them skills and abilities. In Qatar Airways, in particular in the application, they are called as key skills. So therefore, if you possess a certain leadership, show that you are not afraid to delegate the duties. You have a resourceful way of thinking, and of course your interpersonal skills in this matter on how you communicate. As I said during the break time, it's very, very important to show that attitude, that positive attitude, that you're always willing to help your colleagues at that particular time that are there for the open day. So utilizing leadership skills and taking ownership of the moment when there is an issue happening. You're not just running away, you're taking ownership. It's very important for the recruiters to know that you are a person who's also able to take responsibility. As I said, issues are happening in every day in the aviation business, in the airline industry. Therefore, people should be brave, and leadership skills should be developed from day one. You have thought of applying for the cabin crew job until the day you progress in your career, and that's all I can say in this part. Be approachable and be sociable. That's what I have discussed in the previous minutes of the video. Is don't show hesitation when it comes to communication. Sometimes with the candidates or with the recruitment team, we just look at each other and we just smile, or we just blink, or there is so much of a non-verbal conversation that we can do and we do in our daily life that shows that we are an approachable and we are sociable people. My personality, when somebody would see me on the street, I smile, I greet elderly people. When I'm in the store, I am always interacting with the salesperson in order to get the best price, the best deals, something that is unique in quality, let's say. I love going to the bazaars. Bazaars are amazing for me, and where you can negotiate the price. That's something I really, really love, and I'm really, really good at that because I always get the lower price. Because on the bazaar you can bargain and talk to the salesperson and get as I said, get a good deal. So in this manner, try that you're comfortable talking, although they are strangers to you, yet maybe you will know many of the candidates or a few of the candidates. Just don't stick to the people you know. Stick to the people, stick to all the people together. As I said, show a willingness to assist them, show a willingness to help them. Have that pleasant smile constantly. Be focused. Don't use your mobile phone, please, please, please. Although you really need to do it, as I said, one way to do it is just to go to the restroom, hide yourself, and use it when you need to use it. But that open day in that particular time is something that is determining your future. Therefore, I hope that this tips and and tricks for the emotional intelligence, and the parameters on how you can show an emotional intelligence are going to be helpful for you. You're going to find an area where you can work and develop. Yet if you possess this attribute, and I strongly believe that we all of us possess this type of attribute, but sometimes due to the high amount of stress that we have during the open day, we forgot to display them. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I seriously think that as a socially responsible people, as a responsible people in general, we have the right to be nervous, and only someone who is who feels a zero level of responsibility maybe will not feel nervous. But when you have a responsibility put on you, you must carry this feeling of being nervous. But it's also about us and our level of maturity and the level of confidence on how to control the nervousness. Very often the candidates are asking me or are sharing with me their stages in which they were very nervous, they got blank, they didn't know what to say. That is something that no matter how much I would like to help you, should come from you, should come to first know yourself. That's why in the beginning of this video, when I mentioned about the definition of what is emotional intelligence, the gentleman who has defined it has first of all put the accent on understanding your own emotion, being able to deal with your own emotion. When you are going to identify the stage that you are nervous, you understand why you're nervous. You will very much and if you think that right now, in this moment, I have to control my nervousness, whether it's going to be with breathing, I'm gonna take a pause of 30 seconds, I'm gonna put my hands down, I'm gonna try to stay focused. There's so many methods to do that. Once you understand your own emotion and you are able to deal with your own emotion, it's going to be so much easier to understand others people's emotion. That's why this video is made on the importance of having a high emotional intelligence. And once again, don't forget that emotional intelligence is something that we can develop and we can work on it, and we are going to become more and more emotionally intelligent future cabin crew, only if we get to know each other, if we get to know ourselves, our emotions, and work on them. And I would like to end this video on a note related to the candidates who haven't been selected, to make you understand and to trigger you with a question and with a thought. The problem that you haven't been selected, it's not a problem. The problem in this case is your attitude towards the situation why you haven't been selected. If you're able to overcome, and if you're able to self-analyze yourself, if you're able to see through your entire attitude during the entire recruitment process and find the failure within yourself, I strongly believe that the next time will be more successful for you. Often candidates are asking me, do I know the recruiters? And do we have to look for, or is it good to look for them on social media and ask them? Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from doing those things and don't go into the personal life or personalities of the recruiters. At the end of the day, that's their job, just like the cabin crew job for you, just like my cabin service director job when I was working in Qatar Airways. So therefore, it's very important to stay professional and think about what I said, and don't hesitate to communicate with me on my Instagram account, which is right here, and don't forget to subscribe on my video. And again, I cannot promise you when I'm gonna see you again, but I wish you all to stay blessed and to have a nice day. Bye bye.